Anniversary dinner. We're very glad you were all able to make it tonight to such a milestone. I'm Attorney Farah Habala, AAPAC's president. As you know, AAPAC is a nonpartisan organization and all of our members are volunteers. Our message is and has always been, Our message is and has always been to encourage and empower our community in each and every election, no matter what, and to help our community select the best candidates for the position. We're aware of the trust that our community puts on us, and we take that trust and that responsibility really seriously. That is why our members have been volunteering their time for the last 25 years. But all of our work would not be possible without your support, and thank you very much for that. Your financial contributions are essential to provide us with the resources needed to spread AAPAC's message of encouragement and empowerment. Many of you here tonight have been with us since day one, and we cannot thank you enough for that. Tonight, we welcome many officials and candidates, and most notably our top state officers. We're very proud of the 3 strong women in our state. They have led our state through some of the most difficult times in the last 4 years, and we can only hope that our voters trust them to lead the next 4 years. After 25 years, AAPAC's commitment to serve the community is as strong as ever, and we're only going to get stronger. I hope you all enjoy our program this evening, and especially the dinner prepared by Biblos Banquet and Joe Bazzi's team. And now I'd like to call AAPAC Secretary Attorney Hussein Saad to list out AAPAC's 2022 endorsements.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This is a great turnout, a great event. Thank you all. Can we get a round of applause for all of us? So as our president mentioned, my name's Hussein Saad. I'm a lawyer. I'm also the secretary for AAPAC, and I will be announcing our endorsements. Let me apologize in advance if I mispronounced anyone's name, and I also ask for everyone to hold their applause until after I finish reading off the endorsements. For governor, AAPAC has endorsed Gretchen Whitmer. For Attorney General, AAPAC has endorsed Dana Nassel. It's okay. For Secretary of State, AAPAC has endorsed Jocelyn Benson. For U.S. Representative for the 6th Congressional District, AAPAC has endorsed Representative Debbie Dingell. For U.S. Representative for the 13th Congressional District, AAPAC has endorsed Representative Rashida Tlaib. Oh, excuse me, D12. I read what's given to me. For Michigan House District 5, AAPAC has endorsed Alabas Farhat. For Michigan House District 9, AAPAC has endorsed Abraham Ayashi. For Michigan House District 15, AAPAC has endorsed Aaron Burns. For Michigan House District 25, AAPAC has endorsed Kevin Coleman. For Michigan House District 27, AAPAC has endorsed Jamie Churches. For Michigan House District 57, AAPAC has endorsed Aisha Faruqi. For Michigan Senate District 2, AAPAC has endorsed Sylvia Santana. For Wayne County Sheriff, AAPAC has endorsed Raphael Washington. For Wayne County Commissioner, District 13, AAPAC has endorsed Commissioner Sam Beydoun. For Wayne County Commissioner, District 8, APAC has endorsed David Knisik. For Wayne County Executive, APAC has endorsed Warren Evans. For the Macomb County Commissioner, APAC has endorsed Robert Mijak. For the Dearborn School Board, APAC has both endorsed Pat D'Ambrosio and Radwan Saleh. For the Crestwood School Board, for the full term, APAC has endorsed Nadia Berry and Has Beydoun. For the Crestwood School Board partial term, APAC has endorsed Daniel Al-Zayat and Hassan Nasser. For the Third Circuit Court new judgeship position, APAC has endorsed Kiefer Cox. For the non-incumbent position, APAC has endorsed the following: Sharice Anderson, Lakena Crespo, John Gillis, Nick Hathaway, Regina Triplett. And for the 22nd Circuit Court, APAC has endorsed Arian Slay. For Proposal 1, APAC has endorsed yes. For Proposal 2, APAC has endorsed yes. And for Proposal 3, APAC has endorsed yes. You may now applaud. And with that, we have a brief video about the origins and the beginning of APAC, followed by a statement from Attorney Abed Hammoud. Thank you.
When he came to me and he said that I have an idea, I told him, Abed, what you are talking about? Our community maybe is not ready. He said, yes, it is ready. Called a meeting, we were 5 people, and then 10. And then he made it possible.
APAC was born towards the end of 1997, beginning of 1998. And it was mainly due to the frustrations we had with the 1997 local elections in Dearborn. The community felt disorganized, felt we could not unite, we could not deliver the results that we should be delivering. So there were many discussions, informal discussions among friends and among people who are politically active. What should we do? We have to do something. Something has to be done. And I felt the need to do something different from just the meetings we were having and supporting this candidate or that candidate, or working through nonprofits that existed already and that whose officers were doing some political activity. So I actually didn't have much experience in politics except my involvement with the Democratic Party at the time. And I learned about the concept of political action committees. We didn't have any actually around this area. So I filed one with the name Arab American Political Action Committee. And I started talking to people around me who were politically involved and who wanted to do something different. So this is the idea, what should we do? And do you think it would work? We were not so sure it will work, but we said we have to give it a try. So we had few meetings, started in the home, then the meeting expanded, and then by early 1998, we had a meeting in the hall and we started launching APAC.
We hit the ground running. And because we were so forceful and because we were so committed to the project that we were going to take on, we got some pushback from the community and from community leaders and also from community organization. Maybe we were too aggressive, too blunt. Maybe they thought that we were infringing on their territory, but we were so decisive that we want to make this project run and run and run very well to serve this community.
With your help, we will fight to make sure that Arab Americans enjoy the same basic freedom and rights other Americans enjoy. We will fight against the use of secret evidence and airport profiling. We will fight to end discrimination. We will fight to ensure that citizens and non-citizens enjoy the rights guaranteed to them by the Constitution, by our Constitution, the United States Constitution. We will fight to help more Arab Americans get elected to political office, and we will also fight to get more Arab Americans appointed to executive positions in the government. We will fight against any politician who hurt our community in any way. We will fight them. We promise you that. We will no longer be afraid of the sounding of our names. We will no longer change them before we put them on the ballot. We are who we are, and we are very good for this country.
So when we started organizing and getting involved in elections and started locally, of course, in 1998, it quickly became obvious to us there was an issue with Dearborn Public Schools. Many people wonder why AAPAC at its launch was very involved in schools. In fact, it was not part of the plan. Honestly, personally, I didn't even know we had issues at the schools or that a bond was coming up. We were more focused on electing people to office, state representative, council, mayor, and others. But quickly became obvious to AAPAC that the first need this community in Dearborn had was to address the overcrowding and the public schools. So we thought it would be an easy task. We just talked to the school administrations, we negotiated a little bit, and we come up with a good solution. We quickly realized we were up against the establishment, especially in the city of Dearborn. And we quickly realized it needs a lot more effort, and we had to unite our community behind AAPAC, and then fight for the interest of our children, but also children of all of Dearborn at that time.
We want to participate in the police department. We want to be in the city council. We wanted to be in the mayor's office. And we wanted to be treated with integrity and respect. Our integrity should be intact. Sometimes we disagree. It's okay. It's democracy. Yes, we do have an agenda. So in 1999, perhaps was the largest annual dinner that we had. And the reason is that we had some community members and some community organization fighting us and putting at the same night an events in order to stifle the progress of our event and prevent people from coming to our event. I remember in 1999 that we had to pull AAPAC members out of tables because it was so crowded that to accommodate other people who were coming, we had to stand and seat other people. 9 members of the Congress were present at the event. It was a great event. And that shows you when people fight you, you have to fight back. And when you fight back, you make a difference.
It goes beyond the little differences that separate Arab Americans based on last names, on towns, on political parties, beyond all these minor points. There are many upon which we might disagree. There are many major points upon which we do agree. These points of agreements are the points AAPAC focused and will focus on.
And in 2000, we had another blockbuster. In 2000, we had an annual dinner and a year where we had a presidential campaign. And in fact, it was the first time ever a presidential candidate addressed an Arab American group. It was George W. Bush at that time. And we gained national attention.
Yesterday, Sunday, a very important thing happened. The Arab American Political Action Committee endorsed George W. Bush here in Michigan. Michigan has the second largest Arab American population in the country, bigger than the Jewish population in Michigan. I have always thought this is the sleeping dog that hasn't barked in the campaign with Joe Lieberman on the Democratic ticket, and now it's barking.
And despite the national attention we were starting to receive, and then our preoccupation with all kinds of elections, local, statewide, national elections, we still had to keep an eye on the local elections and local issues because the school issues were not resolved, the overcrowding was still there, and the Board of Education decided to still put the same bond again in 2000, which we worked again with our allies from all over Dearborn to defeat it. At this point, we needed to run people and help people run against the incumbent school board members in order for us to make a change. And this is when AAPAC's member, Amy Blackburn, was the first one to run for office from AAPAC. She ran and she defeated an incumbent as well.
We worked really hard to defeat these bonds that were bad for our children, and the only way we're going to change things is from the inside. We keep fighting from the outside, and it's not enough. We need to work from the inside. So I hope that all of you will join me on November 7th and vote for Amy Blackburn for Dearborn Board of Education.
In 2001, we decided that we wanted to make a change in the city. We wanted to challenge the mayor at that time, Michael A. Guido. And we decided that we wanted to run someone against him. not only to win, but to make a point. We tried, but we could not get anyone to challenge the strong mayor at that time. So we decided that we wanted to run the president of APAC at that time, Abed Hammoud, who actually won the primary, which happened to be on September 11 in 2001. But we were hit with the terrorist, and we were hit twice as a nation and as a community. Even though Abed Hammoud won the primary, it was a very difficult election in November, and we all know what happened after that.
After the shock of the September 11 attacks and our local election here, we felt the need to even more come together as a community, not just within the Arab community, but throughout the city of Dearborn, in fact, and the cities around us. And it was a national mood of people getting together and uniting. So we banked on this at APAC. We reached across the city, across the organizations, and we were able to bring a lot more people on board to work together, as opposed to wondering what are we here to do and whose agenda is this, whose agenda is that. We started working together. We united better as a community and as a city, and we worked together. We passed the 2002 bond, and from that point forward, we as a community and as organizations here, not just APAC, started working together a lot more. We also internally at APAC spent a lot of time developing the organization, bringing on board younger people, more women, to make sure that we can develop future leaders, so that we can ensure continuity of the organization, its leadership. And I think we were very lucky to have a fine group of young people and women who joined us, who became part of the leadership of APAC for the last few years. And we are very proud of that today we are an organization that's diverse as far as its makeup, as far as the different nationalities, men, women, younger, older, and it's helping a lot our work together. And we also reached out outside the Arab community within the city of Dearborn and the cities around us, who build coalitions, alliances with unions, with other groups whose interest ally with our interest. We work not just for the benefit of the Arab community, we focus on working for the benefits for all the cities we live in our state and our country.
The increased involvement of women in APAC is a great example of the strength of diversity. It's not just a talking point, but it's something that benefits an organization such as yours. And believe me, there are a lot of organizations that could learn from your example, because we are all better off when there are more voices at the table.
And we did work hard, and we continued to be present everywhere and working for the best interests of our community, our cities, state, and the country. And we made huge advances. From that time until now, look at how many people have taken offices, whether it's on the bench or in the city or in the county or at the state level and even in the Congress. We are on the road of success. We will continue to work as hard as we worked in the last 25 years.
We are an open and welcome society in Dearborn, aren't we? And we should maintain this. This is a great city because we live in it, and we should make it greater. We must keep Dearborn open, yes, and welcoming. Support our businesses and our organizations and promote understanding and tolerance in our own diverse community as Arab Americans. In this hall, we have Iraqis, we have Palestinians, we have Yemenis, we have Lebanese, we have Syrians, all kinds of Arab Americans. But most importantly and above all, we have great Americans. I want to thank you for your support.
What would I do to get my hair back? Anything but Turkey, Ali Hammoud. I'm not going there. You know, the only one who looks younger every year in the pictures is Ali Hammoud. And we know the secret. In fact, there's many men in this hall. There are many men in this hall who went to Turkey, but I'm not going to name them tonight. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. And to many of you, thank you for being with us from day one, since our first annual dinner in 1998 that you saw some clips of. 25 years have been, it's a long journey full of hard work and emotions, but most importantly, full of accomplishments. As you just saw some of the clips, we made ambitious promises to you from the beginning. We did not accomplish all of them, but we are very proud what we accomplished over the years. The founding members of AAPAC and all the members who joined us over the years moved mountains and changed a culture in this community. We may not, at the time, we may not have realized the size and impact of the change we were effecting. But looking back and look at our community today, we see it was monumental, and we're very proud of that. AAPAC turned out to not just be another political or community organization, but rather a school or university that graduated and trained and shaped the future of many men and women who became leaders in this community, in this city, in this state, and who are very successful professionals in their fields, especially in public service. And we're very proud of that as well. One of my personal goals have always been to encourage our community members to be involved in public service. And this wasn't an easy task at the beginning. We are a community of entrepreneurs and small businesses. But today, it's not easy. What's not easy is to count how many of us ended up in important elected or appointed positions in the state. In fact, I first had an idea for tonight to list them. So I start file on Microsoft Word, see how many AAPAC members, I'm not talking about the community, AAPAC current members or former members who were elected or appointed to office, and I'm talking about paid offices, not just committees, it's a lot. I could not keep up, it took me a few days, and the list was very long. So there's no way I read it for you tonight, but I can tell you that we have, and I'm gonna read it because I can't remember it, I'm gonna read it from here. I'm not gonna count my involvement in county government and federal government as a prosecutor, but AAPAC produced 2 mayors, Dearborn Heights, a state representative, we count Abdullah Hamoud twice. He's a member of AAPAC. We have 3 council presidents between Dearborn and Dearborn Heights over the years. We have 3 council members, a charter commission member, an MSU board of trustee member, 4 circuit court judges, 1 district court judge, 2 magistrate judges, 1 county commissioner, 5 members of the Board of Education, Michigan Solicitor General, we don't have to say the name, we just say the Solicitor General, people know who that is. 2 Wayne County Corp Councils, 2 Wayne County Chief of Staffs, who both moved on to be Deputy County Executive, Undersheriff, Chief of County Homeland Security, several assistant prosecutors in Wayne and Oakland County, and many other appointments at state level. We are very proud of all of them, and we know we have many to come. You can give yourself a round of applause for having accomplished this. That's what AAPAC is about, that's what AAPAC has been about. And I talked about the people, I'm not gonna even have time to talk to you about the buildings. AAPAC work on school issues that you saw a little glimpse of tonight made a huge difference. Made a huge difference, resulted in many new schools being built in our city, such as at Salina, at Gear Park, McCullough Eunice, which ended up being named after one of our own members, the late Don Eunice, and additions to other buildings. Today, our schools are overcrowded again. Imagine if we did not fight hard to pass that big bond in 2002, what would be the state of our schools today? This community, ladies and gentlemen, has a lot of talent to offer, and AAPAC is one place where this talent can be discovered, developed, utilized for the betterment of the community, the city, the state, and the country, and we are very proud of that. I won't make many promises to you tonight what we will do. I'll leave that to our next generation of leaders who started walking on the roads, good roads, on the roads we paved and crossing the bridges we erected. Sometimes I ask myself, or others ask me, since you guys have so many young leaders who are very good, why are you and Osama still involved? And it has nothing to do with what Ali Jawad thinks. We are here because we are like the grandpas in a family. You can't leave your family, you stay around, you sit in the corner, you say, you take over from here, we're not gonna try to disturb you. And as soon as there's a problem or anything, can we ask you a question? Can you help us with this, can you help us with that? So we are the grandparents that gonna stick around, hopefully in the corner and not get in the way of anybody. But as in all families, some grandpas have more energy, and others, some are more involved than others. Like Osama is much more involved than me. I know I am ready to retire. But before that, my son laughs. Before that, I have to say a word about what has been happening lately in our community, in the midst of this community, in the name of family rights, family values, and parental rights. AAPAC always has and always will stand for our conservative, strong family values. We will never forget our culture or stray from our religion. It's what makes us who we are and what helps us succeed. But we will not discriminate against others in the name of those family values, because this is wrong, outright wrong. We spent years fighting to be treated. You heard me say we will fight. And somebody said, when Osama said at the time, when I said the judges, I slowed down then. But we spent years fighting for our rights to be treated fairly like everybody else. We are not going to start today misleading others, even if it's just verbally. Civil disagreement is okay, and one of the hallmarks of democracy, but not insults or personal attacks. We fought for years. We fought for years for the rights of everyone, including parental rights. And along those years, we allied with many people who did not necessarily look like us, eat like us, pray like us. That's the essence of democracy. That's the essence of reaching out and accomplishing things. And that's what got us to be mainstream and get all these appointments and elections that you saw. We can't reverse that now. And we have no lessons to take from anyone in this field about parental rights and the freedom of speech and all those things that we've been hearing, especially not from people who are driven by political operatives who are on the same side as those whose agenda is contrary to our community's interest in so many ways. We're not going to be fooled. And here at AAPAC and everybody here, we will not waver or be intimidated. We will keep steady, because at the end we believe truth will prevail and the good will triumph over evil. I know the last few years make us believe, it may not happen, but I'm still a big believer. The discriminated statements, the screaming voices, and all the bad stuff you heard lately do not represent this community or this religion, my religion, or Islam. This is our community. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your evening. I'm so in a hurry to leave the microphone because I forget to introduce Osama to do the next segment.
Introducing me? So here are 4 takeaways from the video. I became much handsome, and he lost his hair. The other takeaway is barking sometimes is not bad. So those who are barking in social media, they should be ashamed of themselves. But barking like this is good. And the fourth one, that we have to remember our friends. Governor Whitmer was here in 2015 when she was not a governor, and she is here today. She did not come yesterday to tell us something that other people are telling us today, trying to steal our votes in a very dirty and nasty way. I have a speech, but I know that most of what I am going to say has been said by Abid one way or the other. But I have to say it because it is an opportunity for us to remind people of what we have done, not only through the things that was broadcasted. And by the way, Mustafa Hamoud told me that I speak too slow. I said, try it when you're 67 years old. Honorable guests, elected officials, community leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful evening. As the election gets closer and the voices are getting louder. But as you know, the loudest voices and those that will be counted are the one casted in the ballot box, and not those that are casted on social media. We hope you can join us between now and November 8th and vote for the candidates we endorsed, and in particular, our great governor, Gretchen Whitmer, our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, and our great Attorney General, Dana Nessam. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, in 1984, when I started the Arab American News, 1 year after that, during the Dearborn municipality election in 1985, a tabloid surfaced for a candidate that was running third in the mayoral election. He put out the tabloid talking about the Arab problem. Later, and as a result of the tabloid, he was elected, came from number 3 to number 1. Arab Americans in the last 38 years proved him wrong. It took us a while, but we proved him wrong. We are not the problem, but we are the solution. Not only in Dearborn, but elsewhere as well. Now, the mayor of the city is Abdullah Hammoud. The president of the city council is Michael Saraini, and the police chief is Isa Shaheen. How about that for a change? In Dearborn Heights, Bill Bazzi is the mayor, and Dave Abdullah is the president of the city council. Take that for a change. In Hamtramck, Amir Galib is the mayor of Hamtramck. Take another third for a change. And we cannot forget not to mention our great CEO of Wayne County, Warren Evans, and his leadership and vision. Recently appointing our brother Asad Turfi as his deputy, moving the county forward, and the best is yet to come. Our thanks and gratitude goes to Wayne County Sheriff Ray Washington and his appointment of our brother Mike Jafer as his undersheriff. Look how much we have accomplished since then. This happened in the last few years, in the last 25 years. Imagine what we can do in the next 25 years. Just imagine. I am going to be there so I can say it again, that what we have done in the next 25 years. My brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Governor Whitmer proved her leadership in the most difficult times, during the pandemic, during the flood, and as we now battle the economic challenges in the aftermath of COVID, the war in Ukraine, and its ripple effect here and nationwide and around the world. Governor Whitmer is a real friend to our community. She included us in her administration, appointed several qualified members in our community, from our community, to judgeships and commissions. The judges that Governor Whitmer appointed in her first term is Hilal Farhat for the Third Circuit Court, Aliya Hakim for the 39th District Court, Muna Armstrong is the 72nd. Armstrong is an Arab name, by the way. Yasmin Ishaq Pauls in the 6th Circuit Court, Ivana Abraham in the 3rd Circuit Court, Matthew Sabbag in the 16th Circuit Court in Macomb, and Susan Dabaja in the 3rd Circuit Court in Wayne County. And we have a long list coming up to you in the next 4 years. After the 9/11 terrorist attack on our nation and the unjustifiable attacks and threats against our community, then State Senate Minority Leader Gretchen Whitmer did not disappear and hide, but was there with our community, assuring them of her support and rejecting discrimination directed against them. She visited an area mosque in her district and stood firmly with our community. We really appreciate that. My brothers and sisters, Governor Whitmer is not like her opponent, that she said on the record on February 19, 2019, only 3 years ago, that hijab is a symbol of oppressive garment against women. No way. We condemn it in all terms. I am sure this inclusivity in the Whitmer administration and appointments will continue in the next 4 years. It is a fact that Governor Whitmer appointed more Arab Americans in the last 4 years than any other governor in the history of Michigan, maybe in the state, maybe in the United States. Not to mention that Governor Whitmer kept her promises. One of them is to fix the damn roads, even though in the process of doing so, it's creating a traffic jams that is expected and require patience and appreciation. Governor, Dana, Jocelyn, all elected officials in here, I want you to know that we are a loyal community, and we will reciprocate this inclusion with our unwavering support between now and November 8th, and we will vote for you. And remember, every vote counts. I want to again thank you all for your support by coming here this evening. It means a lot. When the governor came to speak to our community here at AAPAC dinner in 2015, you saw the clip. I introduced her then as the next beautiful and smart governor of our state. They came to me and said, Osama, you shouldn't say, beautiful. I said it then, and I will reinstate it now. She is the beautiful, smart, and inclusive governor that will lead our state forward for the next 4 years and perhaps our nation in the future. Please help me to the podium, welcoming the Honorable Governor of our great state, Gretchen Whitmer.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Osama saw that video and he said, this was him referring to himself, he's only gotten handsomer. So can you imagine how much better looking he'll be in 25 more years? Thank you, Osama. That was such a generous and kind introduction. And Abed and everyone here, thank you. I am humbled to be the governor of this great state, and I am proud to be an ally and supporter of this community. You inspire me and have returned the friendship in so many ways, and so I just thank you so very much. I want to acknowledge tonight's awardees. Councilman Mustafa Hammoud for introducing the ordinance to translate the ballot and election materials, and Attorney Mona Fadlallah, did I say it correctly, I hope, for leading the organization through incredible tumult and challenges over the last few years. I am honored to be here with all of you and so grateful for your friendship and support. I want to thank the Arab American Political Action Committee for inviting me to speak and for your endorsement. It means a lot. I take no vote, I take no friendship, I take no community for granted. I am proud to be the governor of the great state of Michigan. That means for every person in this state. I want to talk a few minutes about how we have worked together to really deliver on some important promises that we made and things that we can do to continue to make sure that Michigan is a state where generations can thrive. I know that there are a lot of small business owners here, executives, and neighborhood leaders in the room, so I just want to share a few numbers with you. Right now in Michigan, the unemployment rate is 4.1%, the lowest it's been since pre-pandemic. We have added 135,000 jobs to the economy in the last year. And since I took office, we have announced 30,000 additional auto jobs in advanced manufacturing. And we have paid down $14 billion of state debt, amassed a record rainy day fund, and gotten our credit rating upgraded a couple of times over the last couple of years, which is incredible. I think sometimes people don't know that Democrats are fiscally responsible, and that's why I wanted to share these details with you. Because we haven't raised taxes. In fact, we've cut taxes over the last couple of years. And thanks to being smart about how we build budgets, we have been able to make record investment in the foundational things that really improve the quality of people's lives. Whether it is, of course, Osama mentioned the roads, or it is education, we have made some long overdue investments. And when we invest in the fundamentals, it helps everyone, but especially the people who've been marginalized in communities across the state. We've made investments, and we have a plan to fix, yes, my friend Warren Evans, Miller Road Bridge, right? But I think thanks to this, this attitude that we have brought in the last couple of years and the ability to work across the aisle with the Republicans in the legislature, we have been able to make long overdue record investments. And because of that, we've landed incredible economic development happening here in Michigan. I mentioned what's going on in the autos, 30,000 jobs. We're building batteries. We're building electric vehicles, the vehicles of the future. The jobs that helped build this community so people could make a good living and raise a family. That's what we're expanding, whether it's microchips or it is in life sciences. There's been record investment in this state over the last few years, and that's not just about a number of jobs. That's about a good quality of life. That's about opportunity. That's about building community. That's about the barber shop. It is about the school districts. When there's more good paying jobs, that helps everyone in the community. Now, you know, of course, you see the work that we're doing on the roads. We've already rebuilt over 16,000 lane miles and 1,200 bridges, and we are making a lot of progress, Osama. I know some of you might curse me under your breath when you're driving these roads, but I'm very proud of that. But the thing I'm most proud of is the work that we've done in public education. Thank you, school board member over here. As a mom whose daughters went to our public schools, I know that working across the aisle so that we could close the funding gap was so important. In Michigan, for the longest time, we had districts that got a lot more resources than others to educate kids. And we also knew that kids who were in poverty needed more resources to have a level playing field. We closed that gap in this last year. We put more resources into English language learners, into kids who are at risk, into children with special needs. That's how we are building an equitable budget that truly levels the playing field. And I'm proud that we are supporting our teachers and have incentives to support people who go into the incredibly important profession of educating our children. And I think it's important to point out that each of these things that we've been able to accomplish has been bipartisan. This isn't my road or my way or the highway. This is about solving problems in the state. Now, obviously, we still face challenges, and we will meet the moment if we work together. And we never lose track of what is really important, and it is people. We know that costs and supply chain issues are putting a pinch on people's pockets, and that's why, as a proud Michigander, I share these concerns that families are confronting. But I also know that some of the issues that we are confronting is the ugliness in our politics and in our rhetoric and how we treat one another and marginalize people who don't see the world the exact same way that we do. Too often we're seeing ideology prevailing over ideas, and our world that our kids are growing up feels heavier and darker than the one that we were raised in. And we know that there's always politicians who seek to win elections through fear and through division and through othering others. They don't really care about solving problems, they just care about winning. And that's never been the North Star for the work that I've done and for the work that everyone on that paper that announced all your endorsements has done. Over the last couple of years, I've seen firsthand how much hate and bitterness there can be in the world. Some of it has been targeted at me. And thanks to Dana Nessel, we saw some of those people get convicted yesterday. Thank you, Attorney General. But I hope that no matter how much people can find disagreement, I hope that people know I'm always rooting for Michiganders to be able to get ahead. And I will always make a seat at the table for every person who wants to actually solve a problem, no matter where they come from, no matter what political ideology they might have. I know that our good days far outnumber our bad. And in this position, it has been an honor to serve this community and work side by side with this community. We have made record endorsements and appointments and putting people in positions of power. Diversity and representation matters. And that's why I'm so glad to be here with two mayors who represent this community well and are taking on leadership positions. We know that it is important for us to continue to seek to make voices heard and impactful. I will tell you, during the COVID pandemic, I was so grateful to have someone like Jonay Khaldoun by my side, an African-American ER doc who was on the front line and saw the toll that was being had in communities of color, who said, we've got to make a priority. When you have empowered representation, it matters, it changes lives. And that's why, as governor, I've been proud to appoint 99 Arab Americans to the bench, to agencies, to committees, to positions of power. It is real progress. So as I think about Michigan over the next 4 years and over the future, we've got to continue to center our work to build this state to be one where our children stay and make their lives, and other people come too from around the world. It is our great history. It must also be our future. Building a Michigan that is worthy of the people who call it home will always be my North Star. I will never forget that this community has stood with me, and I will stand with this community every single time. I am proud to be the governor of this great state. I am grateful even on the hardest days. I am really feel very fortunate to be here. But mostly because it's the people of this state that have given me the opportunity to do the good that I think needs to be done. To show up and work hard, to build safe communities, to build great schools, to ensure that every person can get a good paying job with a secure retirement. That is the goal, free from discrimination, free from hate, the ability to live their dream. That's the Michigan I see for all of us and our kids and our grandchildren. We have 12 days until a very important election. There's a lot at stake in this election, including some of the foundational aspects of our democracy is at risk right now. And so I ask you to please use your platforms. Every one of you is loved and respected by people. People, whether they are your neighbors, your coworkers, your family members, your friends. Don't miss an opportunity to reinforce how important this moment is. This is our chance to say we are going to take a stand. We're going to protect the democracy. We're going to protect the rights of our fellow Michiganders, and we are going to make sure that Michigan continues on a forward path, not going backward. Thank you all so very much. AAPAC, thank you for the endorsement. I love you all so very much. Thank you.
Near, you thought that I was done, right? So I want people to remember that I do not forget friends. I just keep them, close to my heart. And one of them is the Wayne County Prosecutor, Kim Worthy. I mean, I love this woman, and I think that she loves our community, and she has groomed many of those judges that are on the bench there at the prosecutor's office. So thank you, Kim, for what you have done. And of course, thanks to my good friend and our good friend, the Governor Whitmer Deputy Chief of Staff, Melanie Brown, who's always there to help us. Melanie, stand up, please. Stand up, stand up. And of course, we have to give a shout out to our daughter, Claudia Bezzi, for working very hard on the campaign. And certainly, but not least and last, our gratitude for the two imams who honored us in their presence today here, Sayyid Hassan Qazwini and Imam Muhammad Ilahi. Thank you for coming and thank you for being here. This is a major statement. Now I would like to call to the podium two members of AAPAC, Sharifa Gallup and former member Amy Scholes. I know her, Amy Blackburn. Can you please come to the podium? We have awards to give. She is a former board member, and she's not a former member of AAPAC. She is a current member of AAPAC. And also, I'd like to call the executive board for AAPAC to come forward. Former presidents, don't be shy. But I wanted to say something about somebody that you guys are going to introduce. So, Mustafa Hammoud. One day I was sitting in my office, it was the municipality election, that was last year. And I was sitting in my office and seeing all these names that are being thrown around to run for city council. So I picked up the phone and I called Abed. Abed was out of town on a vacation, as usually he does, after he finished his job at the prosecutor's office. So I told Abed, I said, what do you think about Mustafa running for city council? He said, did he talk to you? And I said, no. He said, he's sitting next to me, we're talking about the same thing. I said, it's a great idea, he should run. Well, thank God he ran. Thank God he won. You know why? Because he introduced translating the ballot and the election material to Arabic. And thanks to Abdullah Hammoud, the mayor, and Mike Sar'ini, the president of the city council, and members of the city council for passing it unanimously. But most importantly, thanks to Secretary of State Justin Benson, who went there to push for the translation. So, having said that, Sharifa.
Good evening. It is my pleasure tonight to present a special tribute award to one of the role models in this community, a professional, an activist, a businesswoman, and a leader. Attorney Mona Fadlallah is currently a magistrate in the city of Dearborn Heights. She has a family law practice. She served as AAPAC's president for the past 6 years. She is passionate, hardworking, and kind. She extends her kindness to anyone who meets her. When I first met her, learning about all her accomplishments and seeing the way she treats others was very inspiring. She is a great example of the active women who have been playing a crucial role in advancing our community, especially in the political arena. Mona, on behalf of AAPAC, I present to you this award, the Special Tribute Award, in recognition and appreciation of her outstanding leadership and dedicated community service. We're very proud of you.
Okay, it's hard to hear things about yourself. I just want to say this means so much to me because I think this family, this AAPAC family, is such a great family to be a part of. Everyone's so helpful. Abed, Osama, Ali Hammoud, Fadwa, Dave, everybody up here, Amy. I love these people so much. You guys probably just don't know how much time we spend together. And so.
Would you stop crying, for God's sake? You're making me cry.
I am a boo-hooer. Everyone that knows me knows that. But I just want to say I'm extremely honored. This organization, even since I've been a member, has done so much. In the past 11 years that I've been a member, I just can't even believe the progress. I mean, I can believe it because we have some strong people here. but it's pretty remarkable. So thank you all. I'm so happy to see so many of my old friends that I haven't seen in so long, and it's been also nice to make some new friends. So thank you so much.
Wow, I'm short. I didn't realize it that much until right this moment. Public service. To me, public service is an action. It's something that people do, some more than others. To some, it's even a calling. It's in their blood from the moment they're born, or maybe it's been in their family so long that they don't know any different. Either way, I'm grateful for those who choose this life because they're the change makers who make our world a better place every single day. Today, I have the distinct honor of introducing one of those incredible change makers. Thank you. I've known Mustafa Hammoud since he was just a toddler. I don't know if public service and politics is in his blood or if it's just all he knows. Because when other kids were playing video games, he was putting labels on campaign flyers. When other kids were talking about Pokemon, he was talking about who to vote for. When he was in elementary school, he could tell you how many students were in each building and how many kids were in portable classrooms. You see, he didn't just get involved when he ran for city council. He's been involved in Dearborn politics since he could walk. Even if he wanted to leave, he couldn't. It's in his heart. I know what that feels like. Over the years, I've watched him grow into an incredible, independent, articulate, well-rounded individual who isn't afraid to speak his mind, even when it's uncomfortable. We were both elected to office at the age of 27, so I understand the difficulties trying to be taken seriously by your colleagues. He handles this with grace and with patience, but he remains persistent. For example, just this week, he introduced a resolution as a member of the Dearborn City Council regarding non-discrimination that was passed. Although this should be something relatively easy or relatively simple in this day, in this climate, he was met with a lot of resistance. Words I often heard in my early political career, like, now's not the time for something like this. But Mustafa was steadfast, and he pushed forward because he knows that this is exactly what we need at a time like this. While this achievement alone is important, it isn't the only accomplishment this new councilman. Oh, sorry. While this isn't the only achievement, this achievement alone is important. It isn't the only accomplishment this new council member has under his belt. During his first year in office, he introduced a resolution to translate voter ballots in order to increase voter access in the city of Dearborn. This is monumental because not only does it open the door for more people to vote, it also minimizes voter intimidation and confusion at the polls. We need to celebrate the hard work and dedication of the next generation of leaders, not only for what they have accomplished, but for what they will accomplish. We need more people like Mustafa to continue to vote, to continue to fight for all of us. So please join me in presenting this award for public service to Mustafa Hammoud. Sorry for the short person feedback.
I'll try to avoid it.
Yeah, I don't think you have that problem.
This is also a little emotional for me too, so thank you, Amy, for the kind words. Thank you, AAPAC, for this award, which means a lot to me coming from an organization that essentially raised me. And I think a lot of you here have seen me come to dinners pretty much since 1998. I was there for that. So I would say a little, not in the speech, but Osama's applause lines have actually gotten better because I was watching a lot of the footage. So good job, Osama. Not only did you get better looking, you also got better at public speaking. So we appreciate you. The other thing that happened is I'd also like to thank my council colleagues for supporting these initiatives, and some of them are here today still supporting me, and I really appreciate that. I think it's important that leaders lead in our city. So I just have to say thank you guys for supporting these initiatives, and hopefully we have a lot more work to do as well to help improve this city and help improve our community. I was 3 years old when AAPAC was founded. I got to grow up around the most dedicated and sincere political activists I've ever known. I learned a lot from each of you, and many of the people who are here tonight know that I've called you all for advice, concerned about things and asking about policy, so I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, so thank you so much. Last year, your votes and your support got me elected to the City Council of Dearborn, and I take that responsibility extremely seriously, and I will continue working very hard to serve the residents of our city and to advance our community. And hopefully I can exceed your expectations. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Ali Hamoud. I'm the current Vice President of AAPAC and the former President of AAPAC. Although you wouldn't know from the videos, it didn't include me in any of the videos. And I sense some animosity from Abed. Abed, if you want the numbers of my fancy Turkish doctors, I have no problem, man. You do you, man. This introduction, I'm going to introduce the Attorney General, Dana Nessel. This introduction is personal to me, and not because my wife is the Solicitor General, but because today, as AAPAC's Vice President, I have the honor and privilege of introducing a fierce advocate for all people and a loyal friend to this community, the people's lawyer, Dana Nessel. Please allow me to highlight just a fraction of her accomplishments in the past 4 years. Dana has spent her career defending the rights of children, seniors, marginalized communities, and veterans. As Attorney General, she stood up to powerful interests, taken on greedy drug corporations, aggressively investigated elder abuse crimes, and prosecuted sexual predators with the full force of the law. Dana created the first statewide hate crimes unit and expanded it to include prosecutions of domestic terrorism. And as the governor already alluded to, just yesterday, she secured a huge victory by convicting 3 individuals who were involved in the scheme to kidnap the governor and harm law enforcement officers. The prosecution of these crimes prevented horrific acts from taking the lives of innocent people and was a victory for the rule of law. Dana launched a probe into insulin manufacturers for driving up their prices and held opioid manufacturers accountable. Dana has secured over $820 million for the state of Michigan. This past week, Dana was right here in Dearborn holding an expungement fair, as she's done across the state, along with the leadership of her expungement director, Michael Azermy. They have assisted thousands of Michiganders, including Wayne County and Dearborn residents, in expunging the records and getting a second chance. Attorney General Nessel is also nationally recognized as a defender of democracy for her work in protecting Michigan's election results and its integrity. Dana understands that our institutions work best when they reflect the people they represent. She appointed a Muslim Arab American woman to be Michigan's 12th Solicitor General. Dana has explicitly defended this community, our community, and it's because of her inclusive leadership that the words Arab American, Muslim, Supreme Court, and Solicitor General were used together in the same sentence for the first time in our nation's history. Most importantly, Dana is no stranger to this community. She's been to our funerals, she's been to our dinners, our cafe shops, and she's been to our houses. You don't need a special political connection to reach Dana Nessel. Dana, thank you for opening doors to this community that were locked. Not shut, but literally locked. Thank you. Please help me welcome Michigan's top law enforcement official, Attorney General Dana Nessel.
Thank you, Ali. That's a beautiful introduction. Nothing could please me more than to hear you give it. And next year at this time, with a lustrous, full head of hair, I'm 100% sure. So, honestly, thank you so much. So when I ran for office for the first time in 2018, I was fortunate enough to earn the support of AAPAC and of the Arab American community. And through their generous contributions to my campaign and through their votes, I was fortunately successful. And since that time, I've spent every day trying to do everything that I can to support this community back. And whether it's, of course, through the great work that FADWA is doing as our Solicitor General, and I think it was about a year ago, I think, that you did argue before the United States Supreme Court. And just a funny story, I wasn't allowed to go in with her because of COVID protocols. So we went and I dropped her off on the steps, and she had to go up, into this magnificent building, but by herself. She couldn't go with anybody else because only she was allowed in to argue the case. And I felt like her mom, and I was like, God, I should have made her like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something to send her off into the court. And then we all went, her family surprised her, and Ali brought the kids, and her parents came out to DC, and we listened to the argument in a room in the Longfellow building, it's called, right? Longworth? Okay, I'm not a DC person, I got it. But we listened to her arguments there, and then we ran to try to greet her when she exited the building following her amazing and winning argument. But then it turned out there was a weird bomb threat, literally at the Supreme Court. It was a Michigan man, but no connection at all, didn't even know what case was being argued. He just happened to decide that day to threaten the United States Supreme Court. So we had to run around this entire huge geographic area trying to find FADWA as she left the court so that she could greet her family and her staff that was so proud of her. But, and by the way, if you think that I look better in my campaign commercials than I do in person, it's because FADWA also serves as my makeup artist for any time that I have to film anything. So she's really a double, triple threat. And I am so proud of the work, by the way, of Micah Jami that he's done in delivering a second chance to people all across the state of Michigan. And when you think that doesn't mean anything, I want you to think there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that he interacts with when he goes to Marquette or Alpena or Traverse City, or places where, frankly, no one has ever met an Arab American person before. But it's an Arab American man who is delivering to them a second lease on life and changing their life forever. And if you don't think that's impactful, then you don't really know what that experience is. And it matters, that representation matters. Or having Mona Youssef, who we just appointed to be the new division chief of our Child and Youth Services division, the first. I think it's the first Arab American who's ever been appointed to be a division chief in our office, and she will outlive me in that role long after, well, I don't know about outliving, but she will survive my time in office, and she will be there hopefully for decades and decades to come, helping the children in Wayne County and all around the state of Michigan for as long as she is there. And I'm very, very proud of her and her work and to have her in that position. but also through the many cases that we have filed at the office, and whether it was fighting tenaciously against the Trump administration, each and every time they enacted a policy that was detrimental to this community and so many other communities around the country. By the way, we won 86% of those cases, so those were not for nothing. Or our work against hate crimes and domestic terrorism, which also impacted this community, and I was proud to stand here with you after the New Zealand massacre and to pray with you for the souls that were lost and the survivors. Or through the outreach that Ali talked about, the expungement fair that we had here, or even the town hall that we just had. Am I talking too long? Is that what the note? Stop talking? Oh, got it. All right. Well, Jocelyn I was just about to mention Jocelyn. I was just about to talk about her. We just had a town hall in Dearborn where we talked about voting rights so that there she is. Do you want to just jump in here and then I'll come back and I'll finish my speech later because I don't want anybody to miss you. I talk for a really long time. The secretary knows this and she's used to it. But why don't you come on up here and...
I just want you to support Dana Nessel because we couldn't save democracy without her. So thank you, Attorney General and Osama. Thank you for your support. I'm sorry I can't stay longer, but we certainly appreciate all the work that you all do to protect and defend democracy. Had a whole speech prepared, but I'll just say, as Osama knows, I was proud to come before you 20 years ago, almost, working with Abed and others to ensure we had ballots that reflected and could ensure that the language of all citizens was reflected in the ballots. And I'm proud we've accomplished that together, and I'm proud to continue to serving with our Attorney General. So Dana, thank you for letting me speak for a few minutes, and I'll turn it back over to you. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
We literally wouldn't still have democracy in the state of Michigan without the great work of Secretary of State Benson, and it's been a privilege and an honor of my lifetime to be able to work together with her in order to make sure that we continue to have democracy. But now back to my jokes for just like a minute. So I've been proud to do this work with the community, here in the community. I feel like I have been here so much, whether it is our official state meetings that we sometimes have at Lava Lounge, or Lava Lounge 2, or at Quaqua House, or I feel like we should get the seal, the official seal of the state of Michigan on biblos when you walk in, because we spend so much time here. Thank you, Joe Bazzi, by the way. But also in times where we really needed help, and Osama, honestly, who is like the handsome young uncle. I can't call you a father because I don't know that age-wise that works, but you've taken so many barbs and arrows for me and done so much to assist me in my career, and I would never be in the position that I'm in right now if it wasn't for you, Osama. If it wasn't for your support, I could not have done any of the things that I accomplished. Not to mention what it's like when your family has been threatened, and to know that you have Mike Schaefer as the undersheriff who's sending a sheriff's car to your house to protect your family when you have been under threat, and then fortunately Kim Worthy to prosecute that person who threatened my family's life. Thank you, Kim. But you are my friends, you are my family, and this community knows that at all times, day or night, our department is only ever a single phone call away. The Arab American community has taken me in and has treated me as well, if not better, honestly, than to some of the communities that I more naturally would belong. And I am so eternally grateful. And I will say this, just to echo some of Osama's and Abed's words and the governor. I reject all of those who have come to this community in an effort to sow seeds of hatred and division, because that is not who this community is. This is a community that stands by those who believe in the basic principle that there is more that unites us than divides us, and there is nothing in this world we can't accomplish simply by locking arms, pushing forward, and demanding justice under the law for all people. So I was grateful for your support 4 years ago. I remain ever grateful for that support now. And I am going to do everything in my power to continue to support the Arab American community, just as all of you have continued to support me. So thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry I took up the time for Jocelyn's speech, but I'm sure it was going to be great. So.
Thank you, Dana. Dana, those arrows that have been directed against me, they are a badge of honor to me. And I will always take them, and I always be proud of what we're doing in here. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for what you have done in the last 4 years. And for the next 4 years, I say, go Dana. One more note. You know, recently, I know that we've taken so long, but there is an important thing that we need to finish our business in here. Recently, our community thanked Debbie Dingle and her late husband for what they have done for our community in the last 9 decades, 8-9 decades. So I wanted to take a minute tonight to say to Debbie, Debbie, this is your community. This is your home. You are just moving next door. But you'll always be here, close to our hearts, and you will always be our Congresswoman in Washington, D.C. It doesn't matter where you move to. Debbie Dingle, thank you very much what you have done so far. And thank you for your leadership. And by the way, as she moved next door, guess who moved indoor? U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib. I know she had to leave, but I wanted to say to her, and I'm sure she'll hear it from you, Rashida, we're very proud of you. You go, woman, and make us proud again. And thank you all for coming tonight. I want to wish my good friend, Judge Timothy Kenny, a great retirement. He will be leaving the bench and being the chief of judge for Wayne County. Great judge, great tenure, a great friend. Thank you very much for your services, sir. Good night, everybody. Vote between now and November 8th.
Well, I'm back again, and I have more names to name off while you guys all enjoy your dinner. Again, let me apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's names. And if we didn't get you, we tried our best to get them. There are a number of dignitaries, elected officials, and judges here that we want to thank and acknowledge for being here. So to start off, and again, please hold applause till the end. Thank you to Superintendent Glenn Malenko, City Council Member of Dearborn, Robert Abraham, Judge of Dearborn, Gene Hunt, Judge of Detroit, Khalil Davis, Circuit Court Judge of Wayne County, Hilal Farhat, Vice President of Northville Schools, Angela Jaffer, Chair of the Wayne County Commission, Alish Bell, Undersheriff of Wayne County, Mike Jaffer, 36th District Court Judge, Austin Garrett, Michigan Court of Appeals Judge Kristen Garrett, Magistrate of the 20th District Court, Lawrence Asal, Magistrate of the 20th District Court, Mona Fadullah, Judge of Dearborn, Sam Salemi, Michigan State Senator Sylvia Santana, Michigan State Rep of the 21st District, Representative Raju Peru, Dearborn Commissioner Dr. Alex So, Dearborn City Council Member Aaron Burns, Judge of the 3rd Circuit Susan DeBaja, Wayne County Commissioner Sam Baydoun, Dearborn School Board Irene Watts, Dearborn Heights City Treasurer Lisa Hicks Clayton, State Representative of the 20th District, Matt Colzar. Judge of the Third Circuit, Karen Baxton. Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, Wayne County, Samir Jafer. Westland City Council Member, Jim Godbot. Wayne County Prosecutor, Kim Worthy. Dearborn City Council Member, Mustafa Hamoud. Dearborn School Board Member, Pat D'Ambroso. Mayor of Dearborn Heights, Bill Bazzi. Dearborn City Council President, Mike Serini. Dearborn Heights City Council Member, Hassan Ahmad. State Senator, Diana Pollack. Pollacki, thank you guys. Thank you, Senator Santana. Wayne County Circuit Judge, Yvonne Abraham. Mayor of City of Dearborn, Abdullah Hamoud. Police Chief of City of Dearborn, Aisa Shaheen. Crestwood School Board President, Danielle Alzaya. Dearborn Heights City Council Member, Robert Constan. State Representative, Kevin Coleman. Solicitor General, Fadwa Hamoud. The Magistrate of the 19th District Court, Ali Hamoud. Dearborn City Council Member, Leslie Herrick. And with regards to the candidates who are here today, the Third Circuit Court Judge, Regina Triplett. Judge of Dearborn District Court, Sam Salemi. Third Circuit Court, Keeper Cox. Crestwood School Board Member candidate, Hassan Nasser. State Rep candidate, Alibas Farhat. Third Circuit Court Judge candidate, Sharice Anderson. Third Circuit Court Judge, John Gillis. Dearborn Board of Education, Ridwan Saleh candidate. Crestwood School Board candidate, Danielle Alzayat. Crestwood School Board candidate, Nadia Berry. Again, if we miss anyone, we apologize. And I want to thank everyone for being here today. Again, I don't need to remind you all, but the elections is less than 2 weeks away. I encourage everyone to go out and vote. Thank you all and good night.